Welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt. Who vex, lose, who vex. Welcome, folks, wherever you guys are joining us from today. Welcome. I see Isabella Butters is here. Isabella Butters. Siobhan McDonald is here as well. And all the other beautiful, wonderful folks here too. Guys, welcome to our international podcast. Welcome. We are so happy that you folks are here. GD Root Gal, how are you doing? Good to have you, folks. Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear, folks. As Siobhan says, it's 73 degrees outside, very sunny in Jersey. Very sunny, Siobhan says, in New Jersey. We're going to compete with you now and tell you what's the weather by we side. Yep. Weather.com tells us it's 25 degrees, it's cloudy. Yep, that's weather.com for you. It says it's cloudy where we are. 25 degrees outside. I think they've adjusted that. Hold on. 28 degrees to be precise. Yep. I took off 3. 28 degrees outside, mostly cloudy. That's what they're telling us, mostly cloudy. And there's a 24% chance it's going to rain. They tell us even though it's 28 degrees outside, it feels like 32. Well, we're just happy that it's good weather. We're going to take what we get and we're going to wait for what we want. Vashti McNaught is here. Let us know if you're hearing us clearly, folks. Yep, I see Winston Henry says loud and clear. I see Alex Powell is here as well. Bartica in the house, Alex Powell, and says loud and clear. Good to have you, folks. Paulette Hawk Kippins here as well. And we're going to be talking today of a person of interest. We picked a person of interest we think that is doing something out there that is noteworthy. We've been talking about Karen Abrams. Yep. Karen Abrams. That's our subject for discussion today. We're going to be talking about some of the work Karen is doing. And, there's a particular column we're going to refer to in that bit of discussion. But good to have Ramilianda here. And also Roxanne Aaron is here as well. Alex Boom. GD Root Gal. There's a GD Root girl who right now is in the custody of Kanu and the police for drugs. Another Root Gal. We got to watch that. We got to watch these Root Girls. Yep. Terrence Beaton is here as well. And I hope my colleague who is not joining the podcast today is making her way out of the studio as we speak. Is going to send me that bit of information for the other Root Girl. Roxanne Odessa is here and Claudette Clark is here as well. Guys, really good to have each and every one of you. Vashti McNaught, we see you, Vashti, out of Canada. Good to see you. We shout out back to you, Vashti. Pace and power, says Roxanne Odessa Jacobs. June Gibbs, we see you, Junie. June Chase, rather. Can't really even people know. June Chase. Mayburn King, come on down. Donna Liverpool is here. Great to see you, Donna. How you doing now? How you doing better? Paula Mattis, good to see you. Paula. Good to see you. Wow, Vashti says she's in Belfast. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to say this in a braggadocious way, but I think Belfast is in Ireland, is it? Is it? Ireland? Is it Ireland? Belfast is in? You're straying, you're your foot long, you're going far. Good to have you with us. Nonetheless, Belfast in the house today. I beg your pardon. See why we say international podcast. Folks, we're so privileged to have each and every one. We are so privileged to have you folks here. Marlon King is here as well. A lot of kings on the life. Yes, Vashti McNaught has confirmed that yes, I am correct. I went to school in August. But I got a little sense. She says that it's Northern Ireland. Yes, Belfast. So take that one off of me, folks. Give me as a 1 mark or 2 mark, the question. Belfast is in which country? I said Northern Ireland. I can take a 2 marks to that. JG. Good to see you, JG. Folks, you all know we've been tweaking the podcast. Every day we got a theme. Yesterday we dealt with dollars and cents. Excuse me. Didn't get a graphic right. Yesterday was Tuesday. Monday we did with Lest We Forget. We spoke about that one. Caravan Lal. We won't forget here at all. Especially when Robert Stamp Phillips come around, Ubraj Narayan a little funny. One he handshake too. Mm-hmm. And Sunday was Motivation Sunday. Motivation Sunday. And then we had Saturday was our weekend review. We look back at some of the top stories making the week and some other information as well. And today, folks, it's a person of interest. And we're going to be talking about the work of Karen Abrams, doing some fantastic work in STEM, some fantastic work. And we're going to be talking about some thoughts that she expressed in a column recently. We think, it's worth repeating. We like that. Worth repeating. And maybe in very short order, we'd have her on the podcast. These VIPs is difficult to pin down. Respect and manners to Karen Abrams. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic woman. Peggy, we see you there. Peggy Russell Elias feels the same way. STEM Guyana Big Chief, Mrs. Karen Abrams. Yes, true. All the good stuff, Peggy. All the good stuff. I see Kim Walker is with us as well. Kim says good afternoon and good afternoon back to you. Right back to you. Good to see you, Rhonda. And Sukchan Sud Harris is a nice color. Sukchan Sud Harris, our graphic is a nice color. We know a couple of things, We know one or two things. And then we got Big Brain Drita here as well, which means we know two things. And then we got some other folks help us out, Folks, we got to do what we got to do out here, We told you guys these things about you. We want to make sure you get credible, valid information. Always. Always. Gwyneth Anderson, respect and manners. Rock and come in, Gwyneth. Rock and come in, flick and come in, roll and come in, somersault and come in. Just come in. Good to see you. Stan Bourne. He said, boom, we there. That's why I know. We outside. We outside, folks. We outside. And, lots happening, guys. Lots happening. Lots in the papers today. Lots of information. And we're gonna be touching on a couple of things we think you guys ought to know about before we lose you a while. Right? We're gonna be touching a couple of things before we lose you a while. Mm-hmm. Folks, how has the day started at your end? What's for lunch? Do let us know. Y'all don't play licorice now because you got your food and talking to it. Let us know how things are going where you are. And we hope and we trust that you guys have a fantastic day. We want to thank all of you who would have joined our podcast, our morning program. You see how you got me? Joined our morning program today. Respect and Manners is still available on our social media pages. You can go back if you didn't get a chance to tune in and listen to some of that. Folks who are joining now, share the damn live stream and smash the damn emoji button as well, folks. Don't get out here looking tin. One of the things we've been following, folks, thank you for wherever around the world you folks are joining us from. It's tremendously good to have you guys here. Pace and Power, Yolanda, Marilyn, Lorimer, and Kim Walker, Alicia, Modi Lal, good to see you. Guyana Spectator, we see you. Yep. Guyana Spectator says major shakeup within the AFC. Good move. Guyana Spectator, at least you got eyes to see. We know it's not a bot, it's not a troll. You got eyes to see, Guyana Spectator. Beatrice Selby, good to have you. Kim Walker, good to have you. Jemo Prance, good to have you here as well. Cherry Boskin Greenwich, joining us from Barbados. Cherry said, I out here. I love that. I love a little get to it, my friend. Out here. Good to have you. Oswin King joining us. It's from Chandler, Arizona. Yeah, the fireman. Oh, Lord. If we pelt some peas, some of the Antarctica, we can knock a guy in it. I'm certain. All over the place. You can see somebody jumping from beneath the ice. If we pelt some peas, somewhere in the Antarctica, we all over. Arizona in the house today. We got Annette Gordon joining us from Maryland. Can you believe that? Joining us from Maryland. Merle Sampson says, thanks for my person of interest. I see passion of interest. All this all I interest in everybody. And we're gonna be talking a little bit about what Karen said recently, but what Karen Abrams said recently from the top. I love it. Fidel Albert, good to have you. Sherilyn Williams, good to have you. Carletta Reynolds, good to have you, folks. And among the things we're following today, folks, the body of this accident victim, Ronald Williams, was found yesterday, and the suspect is the driver of that car that was involved in the accident with Ronald Williams and led to his demise. Daniel Melbourne, the report tells us, led the authorities to the very spot where you pitch out Ronald's body. You know, this country different, folks. Oh, this country different. You know, you hit down a man, and before you do the right thing and you take him to the hospital, you're just flinging your car, and then you fling out. You know, fling in and fling out. This country different. This country different. You know, if it wasn't for people like Alicia, Modilal, and Ramilian, they'd gone a long time, Sean the Fortune. It's them holding me back. Here the row. Is y'all holding me back? Lizzie Simon, they're holding me back. Right? Lizzie says she's busy at work. And she's taking a peep in between. We're happy for you. We're so happy. We're so happy for that kind of a stick-to-itiveness. Sorry to got in a position, my sister. Sorry to have you in that position. Yep. So there is that. You know, our thoughts and prayers go out to Ronald Williams' family. It can't be easy, folks. It just can't. It just can't be easy. Right? It just can't be easy at all. And then there's this other issue we're following with this other rude girl we got in this country. The other rude gal that we got. You know? And it's a lot of stuff going on, folks. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on. Right? There's a lot of stuff going on. And, you know, we're following the arrest of a 23-year-old woman. This is a rude girl. And she's arrested. 23. Right? Lisa Ramnarine, 23. For allegedly wanting to, according to the report, ship cocaine in hidden inside religious items. My Lord. A press release from Kanu is telling us that, or rather informed this article in Newsroom. Can you imagine that? A 23-year-old. Right? Folks, the different, you know. The different. 23 years old. Lisa Ramnarine. Trying to ship cocaine in religious items, right? Lisa going the way of Miss Williams from DPI. Young people, 23, and she's trying to ship cocaine in religious items. My Lord. Lord have his mercies. Lord have his mercies. When they get to our age, Cleta Reynolds, by the time they meet 25 and 30, when they get to our age, what they can be shipping? It's guns and ammunition. Dan Graves Andy. Oh my. I'm so always sorry to see young people get caught up like this. And the report we have here concerning Lisa Ramnarine, you know, those of you who are familiar with TikTok, Lisa's a hot mouth on TikTok. But we don't know, you know, that Lisa sugar down too. Right? Like Lisa was popping the Molly. I mean, coke is one thing, with coke in religious item. Is anything sacred these days? Right? It used to be you pass a church or masjid, you'd make the sign of the cross or something like that. You know, you make bow or so on. Now they're putting coke in religious items. Right? So I don't know. When Lisa's talking about the Most High, you got you're confused as to what specifically she might be referring to. Right? When she says she's prayed to the Most High and she got some religious items around. We're being told by, and we're picking this up out of Newsroom, you know, on a good day they do, you know, one and two good articles. According to newsroom, they're telling us that ranks from the customs and in narcotic unit, this is KANU, have arrested a 23-year-old woman in connection with the discovery of cocaine inside religious items. Mhm. The press release from KANU noted that Lisa Ramnarine of Hague on the west coast of Mara was taken into custody on Tuesday after the cocaine was intercepted at DHL's 50E 5th Street Alberton office. Big cocaine religious items shipping through DHL too. Mm-mm. Lisa, I didn't. This there's a little shocker to me, folks. Because I sometimes look at some of the stuff she posts on TikTok, and I said, this girl could, if she keeps it up, she could have to you carve out a little social media needs, right? But I don't know. Sometimes a lot of those rants, Lisa, they sugar down. I don't know. She's always in a little toss up with folks there on TikTok, but we hope for the best. We hope for the best. We hope it's the wrong person. We got to have the regularity of assumption of regularity. Maybe it's the wrong package. Maybe it's not she package. Maybe it's the wrong person. Maybe it's the wrong Lisa. Whatever. We gotta really don't give up on our young people. Don't give up. And this is just after what is the young woman's name from TPI? Williams. What's her name? That got caught with the drugs. Minister Parag's niece. Minister Parag's niece. The one that sent for psych evaluation. Right? So maybe Lisa might go for psych evaluation too. It shook her down. Lisa shook her down. All the rant perhaps on thing, But we can't give up on our young people. We just can't. Because as we see in our discussion we're going to have just now on this column that Karen Abrams wrote, and we want to draw to your attention, that is really the young people. It's true to God is the future of this country. True to God. So we can't give up on them, We can't give up. Of course, you can do the time, don't do the crime. That's notwithstanding that. Action got reaction, causes, got consequences and so forth and such. But quite a shocker here, folks. Lisa Ramnarine. Let me see if they tell us the quantity of cocaine that was in these items. I don't see that. Yep, they said they found 540 grams, about 1 pound of the substance, which later tested positive for cocaine. So it's a different Most High Lisa will be talking about in her religious items that she'll reach. Yep. Not good at all. But Ghana Spectator, we can't give up on our folks. Bridget Giddens, we can't give up on our folks. Marilyn Thomas, we can't give up on our young people. Lizzie Simon, I know you're taking a peep, you're taking a listen. Can't give up on our folks. Marilyn Larimer, Winston Henry, can't give up. Sharon Glenn Roberts, we just can't. We can't give up on our people at all. Right? So maybe, just maybe, Lisa was following Lisa Ramnarine. It was just last month. I think we were talking about Minister Sonia Parag's niece being in a drug bus. And then here we have Lisa, Minister Sonia Parag's niece, that being Zanil Williams. Right. So what's happening here? We gotta arrest this situation here. Right. Drugs come back. Sins and vice come back. Drugs come back. That's what we're telling you all. Sins and vice come back. Drugs come back too. In addition to that, folks. Mr. Norton, the leader of the opposition, he has formally advised Irfan Ali, Catfish, of his support for confirming Justices Cummins Edwards and George Wiltshire. Right? And in a comment attributed to Mr. Norton, he said that I'm saving the president the trouble of having to ask for agreement on the appointments. The Constitution says, Article 127, subsection 1, that he needs the agreement of the opposition. And what I've done is to remove any barrier whatsoever. I've made it clear through the representative in this letter that I am in agreement once it is the appointment of the Chancellor and Chief Justice. He's in agreement. He is in agreement for the appointment of Justices Yonette Cummins Edwards. Justices Yonette Cummins Edwards and Roxanne George Wiltshire to be appointed Chancellor and Chief Justice, respectively. So you say, you don't have to wait. Once you agree with them, I agree with them too. Let me move on. But we know by now, Irfan said that he is not yet ready. You know, he got to be a little more agile on these issues. Got to be a little more agile on these issues. Got to be a little more pace and power. Got to be a little more pace and power, folks. Pace and power. But those are some of the things that we are following today. And as we're on Irfan has gone to the Summit of the Americas, believe it or not. He's off to the Summit of the Americas. Yep. Frequent flyer, Irfan. He gone, which means you can see some major announcements by Jack during a press conference. Watch for it. You can see some major announcements by Papa Jagabat, and then you'll have a press conference. Watch for it, folks. Watch for it. Yep. The office of the installed president says that Irfan Ali will be accompanied by the First Lady, Arya Ali, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Utah, and also Foreign Secretary Robert Prasad and Ambassador George Talbot. Those are the people going to be constituting his team, and they're off to Los Angeles, California, to that Summit of the Americas. I hope that they do right by this country. One hopes, but with Irfan on this team, with Utah on this team, you just never know. It might be up to Ambassador George Talbot to redeem the whole damn thing. So we're following that. Following that, folks. Following that. And I think the final thing we're going to talk about in some of the stuff we're still tracking is this kitty man. 41-year-old security officer of William Street Kitty, Georgetown, who died by suicide just before he was supposed to be arrested over some domestic violence allegations. And this is one of the things we're following. You know, a very sad turn. Very sad turn. A very sad turn of events here. And very sad turn events. And what we've been saying here, guys, is that this is the other pandemic we're not addressing at all. I think we said that consistently here. It's one of the pandemics we're not addressing here. And the report we have says that the deceased has been identified as Jermaine Simon, a 41-year-old security officer of William Street Kitty. Jermaine Simon, 41 years old. According to the report, the dead man's common-law wife, Rosanna Clark, confirmed that she went to the police station yesterday afternoon to file a report against him. She stated that on Monday night, Simon physically abused her and threatened to end her life. Clark said he also told her that if she went to the police station and reported the matter, he would retaliate against the police and end his life. Right. But clearly he wasn't joking with the end his life part. Took his own life just before he could be apprehended by the authorities yesterday afternoon. Yep. That's how that went down, folks. So sad. Our thoughts and prayers, of course, go out to this family. Our thoughts and prayers go out to them. What a story, guys. What a story. A lot of things happening, folks. It seems this country is slipping. Right? It seems as though this country is slipping, folks. It's slipping. That's how it seems. It's slipping on every front, on every front. Candidly indigent, it's slipping. Patricia Kisun, oh, we need a week of prayer, a week of fastings and prayers. Robin Leander, guys, we're so grateful to have you folks here. Share, share, share the damn life. Smash that emoji button because I want to turn my attention. I want to turn my attention to our person of interest. Back from the top, guys. Want to turn my attention to our person of interest, Karen Abrams, because indeed, Karen has been doing fantastic work. Nothing short of fantastic work in STEM. But it's what she has to say about the working world, I think is very important to us millennials, right? To us millennials, and also to the young people, your children and my own. It's going to be very, very important to them. You know, very important to them. And as we said, we're picking up this from Village Voice over the weekend. Couldn't wait to share it with you guys. Interestingly, one of the co-founders also of STEM, Karen's son, recently did very, very well. And he was our person of interest on the morning program FYI. And this is Caleb Christian. He's one of the co-founders of STEM Guyana, and we talked about how we graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Integrated Digital Media from the Tandem School of Engineering. In addition to that, he graduated with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Media, Culture, and Communications from the Steinhardt School of Culture, Education, and Human Development, and a minor in Business of Entertainment Media Technology from the Stern School of Business and the Tisch School of the Arts. So a good family doing good work. But it's not because of that we're featuring Karen. It's what she said that we think is so important, and how the header for this article really stood out to us is that a job for life is now a thing of the past. A job for life is a thing of the past. And it's not just because Karen said it, but this is how academics think the world is going to work, and is working in a not so distant future. And you can use yourself, Kevin Chisholm and Jackie Beard, as an example. Myrna Stobie and Lambert, good to see you. Chinsing Henry, use yourself as an example. Whether the work you started doing when you were younger, is it that work you're still doing? Are you still at your first job? That is some of what Karen was talking about in this article. A job for life, rather, is now a thing of the past. A job for life, Shaunath Sichuan Mohan, is a thing of the past. And Karen says in this column that a job for life is a thing of the past, attributing this to a quote coming out of MIT. A job for life is now a thing of the past. The World Bank estimates that 4 out of 5 children entering primary school today will eventually hold jobs that do not currently exist. Can you imagine that? 4 out of 5 children entering primary school today will eventually hold jobs that do not currently exist today. These fast-changing realities leave ripple effects on communities worldwide. But the world's poorest are likely to be the most adversely affected. The world's poorest are likely to be the most adversely affected, which has which has some reverberations for us in this part of the world's hemisphere. It has some reverberations for us. And we heard these thoughts as well a year or two ago out of a UE professor who put it a slightly different way by saying that it used to be you used to have a degree or some qualifications, you get a job, and that was the job you held for life. You know, that's the job you held for life. Now people leave job for the simplest things, you know. You go, you see somebody eyebrow looking little thing, and you say, well, I ain't like this place. I can make a turn. Right? When I was teaching a couple of years ago, every time the principal of the school got a particular teacher vexed, he would say, it's a long time I write application. He would be talking loud so the principal could hear him. Right? That's what he would say. If the pay was late or something like, he says, a long time I write application. That would, so the principal could hear. People just don't stick around long. And it's for various reasons. Stick around work for long. It begs the question that if 4 out of 5 children, your children and my kids, going to be employed in jobs that don't exist today, how are we preparing them for those jobs? You know? How the catfish regime preparing them for those jobs? Do you guys hold the same jobs you held 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Things different. I see Lambert telling us that, you know, the former Canadian Prime Minister said essentially the same thing in the 90s. And so the whole notion of how we work is interesting. The whole manner in how we work is interesting. And look how COVID has shook that up. Right? And it's something governments got to examine. Now, look the amount of folks, as a case in point, due to COVID, were working shift system. What was our productivity level? We grew up in a culture you had to go and clock in at 8, clock out at 4, right? And going back to the public sector was an eye-opener for me. You know, I did some work out of the Ministry of Public Security, and I took my private sector self there, and I was quite surprised many days. You know, made some great friends there. At the Ministry of Public Security, they reverted it now to Ministry of Home Affairs. Got to install Minister Ben. I was quite intrigued because I'd worked out of the public sector for a long time, went back to give a hand, and, you know, I would be working until the work is done. And sometimes I'm in the office and I'm working through, and you go outside, you know, 4:31, the whole floor in darkness. It's like, you know, I just love the way they just timed it right. There wasn't people moving, you know, at 4:31. Work finishes at 4:30. But 4:31, the whole floor would be in darkness. And I'd have to feel my way outside to get the light switch on. I carried my private sector self. But, you know, public sector work is still fantastic work. It's still good work. Did that for a long time too. And then went into the private sector. Right? Did that for a long time. It's quite amazing. But here is Karen Abrams talking about how a job for life is now a thing of the past. How are we preparing for work? Are governments making the kinds of investments they need to? And we were talking about how COVID has changed up the way we work. I'm certain some folks ain't going back to full-time work. You know, you got staycation, and places like Barbados were working. What do they call that? You could move to Barbados. We're offering you different amenities and so on to work remotely. So the whole nature of work is changing. You rather go and clocking 8 to 4 or something like that, as against being able to work, you know, at your own time and at your own leisure. It takes a lot of discipline, I can tell you that. It takes a lot of discipline, and perhaps government has to start measuring, use a different matrix to measure how people work. Is it a case you want to see people's faces or you want productivity? Right? A lecture from UG when we were studying says, when you have an assignment, if the assignment was due next Monday, some folks might be asking for an extension early, and she would say, if I give you a month, you can take a month to do it. If I give you 1 year, you can take a year. And one of the things she said was very instructive. She said, work expands to fill time. If you get a year to do it and you get a month to do it, you can take the same time. So just get it done. How are we measuring productivity? Is it people going and you got to see people's face, you got to see 30 people on the floor? Or can people stay home and do the same amount of work and be equally productive? But these are things we got to confront, right? And then with people shifting between jobs so much, here is Karen Abrams with her MBA in curriculum development and education technology, saying that a job for life is a thing of the past. But one of the important things that Karen says here is that if governments and the private sector if government and the private sector players in developing countries really internalize the World Bank prediction about jobs of the future, national leaders would begin an unprecedented flurry of activities around preparing the next generation of citizens for a future which will be vastly different from that which so many of us live today or are able to even conceive. Governments, Karen says, should be in a flurry of activities if they believe this. And I would continue to argue, I think one of the missed opportunities of COVID-19 locally is to really and truly push online learning. I ain't say push a tablet in a child's hand and a teacher face pop up on the screen and that's online learning. That's not online learning. Yep. Happy to be back with you folks. Apologies there. Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now? Apologies there. Don't even know what happened there. Then why we have this conversation, But I'm happy that Karen Abrams broached the conversation. We're happy Karen Abrams broached the conversation because it's one that needs to be had. It's one that needs to be had. And the point we were making before we were so rudely interrupted, the point we were making is that the same quality of education that we have, right? There's the point we're making is the same quality of education we have on the coast, and technology allows us to do that. Is the same quality of education we should be having in places like Ramadan in Region 7. But if we can't even get the food right, if they can't even get the same quality of food as students on the coast, how we get education right? So we're so happy that Karen broached this topic. Gordon Daniels and Gladstone Matthews and Junan Bowman. We're so happy that Karen Abrams broached this topic about how the whole nature of work, how the whole nature of work will change in the future. We're so happy that Karen broached it for us. All right. And a couple of things again that Karen says here stand out to us and that we want to draw to your attention because it just makes sense. It just makes sense. If I could only find my place in the notes. It just makes sense. Right? Nasa? Junan Boma? Nasa? It makes sense, David Wood. But again, governments, Karen says, gotta begin thinking about these things. Right? Gotta begin thinking about these things. Well, the audio come back and the notes go missing now. Yep. Here what else Karen says in this column. As Guyana continues to rapidly develop all its fledgling industries, Guyana's tiny population and suspicious of potential new residents acquired through mass migration or returning citizens from the diaspora will continue to present a problem from two major perspectives: filling the thousands of jobs in every industry that will be created out of the accelerated pace of development, and as a source of economic expansion for increased consumer spending. And Karen goes on this column by saying that Guyana's small population could also stifle development if key gatekeepers frustrate and undermine those who bring innovation and opportunity. And that is important because, like, there's only some people going to have an opportunity to get a bite of this pie. Rami Leander, David Wood, Karen Welcome. Like, there's only some people. And Karen goes on to say that there are just not enough Guyanese citizens for picking and choosing to be a sustainable approach, right? For picking and choosing to be a sustainable approach to opportunity access in the future. A lack of talent will significantly stifle development, and we got plenty of that. I just tell you who going to this summit of the Americas, right? You talk about lack of talent. I know how you Chad make it, right? I know Robert Prasad make it. You talk about lack of talent. That's what Karen says. That will significantly stifle development. Guyana must change because the rest of the world is changing. That's so profound, right? The folks who are in the diaspora, y'all know how the rest of the world is changing. The folks in the diaspora, y'all know how the rest of the world is changing. Now, Ali gone to the Summit of the Americas in Los Angeles. He got Tad. He got Robert Prasad. He got Ambassador Talbot. You tell me when them people see those countries, the skin don't crawl for want to be like that. To implement one and two things, systems and services to make life better for Guyanese. It boggles the mind that those boys could come back and just do absolutely nothing, Absolutely nothing. It boggles the mind. All of them go touring. First lady, second lady, first man, second, everybody, Dubai, you name it, they go. Los Angeles, Las Vegas, you name it. Them boys tour. Texas, they deb out. And they don't see one thing to come and implement and say, you know what, we can make life a little easier for these people. Look story here. Look story here. But it will cost for serious thing. And you can't develop this country if you say you ain't talking to the leader of the opposition till he recognize you as president. How are you going to develop a country like that? With a kind of small mind thinking. That's why me and Marty wrapping rings around them. Rings around them. How are you going to develop a whole country like that? How? You think it's just like that? You can develop a whole country like that with that kind of thinking? Right? But finally, in some of what Karen Abrams wrote here, Karen says, oil aside, Guyana's youth offer tremendous promise for helping to rapidly advance her development through massive growth in the technology sector, but investments must be made today. Investments must be made today in Guyanese youth. In Guyanese youth. I see some young people from Barbados getting land and so. Gladstone, Maureen, I see some young people from Barbados getting land and stuff for farm. What are young people in Guyana getting? We promised free education. I know Parag now going to come and say it's Photoshop. That one was Photoshop. We promised free education. That would be a good investment. That would be a good investment. Free education. One less thing for the Guyanese youth to talk about. Folks, I tried to work and study. It ain't working out. It ain't working out at all. You know what it is to go work whole day. And if you got a bad supervisor or somebody like that who really work you like a slave to go and study afterwards, you got to get good testicular fortitude. It ain't easy. And then if you got the dunza, if you got the babs and so on, because when you work hard and you study hard, you got to eat properly. Right? You can do 8 hours work, 12, 14 hours work. Go to UG for another probably 8 hours into the evening. Right? On a dry down and black water. And you'll see where this economy coming to. Right? So the government got to begin, as Karen says, to make the investments that gives us the kind of fighting chance in the future that we need. You can't invest in Jagdio. Jagdio done gone through. As the Trinidadians just say, it's the little ones, the young ones you got to invest in. How you can be investing in Gail to share at this point and she $1 and $2 million phone bill when the month come? It's our young people. But look at them. Taking away the funding from the Sapphire Night School. But young people trying to move forward. Look at them. What they did to what's the place in Carfest, not Carfest, Wolford Avenue there? Christian Labor College. Look what they did to Kurukuru College. They don't believe in education. One man went to UG, he fall out in second year. He trying to close down all the education institution. And the one he was supposed to close in April, he closed. So Karen says here, oil aside, Guyana's youth offer tremendous promise for helping to rapidly advance her development through massive growth in the technology sector, but investments must be made today. And I'm happy she said that, because look at what Karen has been doing with STEM Guyana and how investing in the youth and our young people could have a good return. Because those young people there from STEM Guyana have been making us proud. They've been making us proud. They have been making us proud. And so we hope that the regime takes stock, and we got to begin to move in a certain direction. We got to begin to make the investments that are necessary. You look at the way in which they've been giving out their band-aids of hampers and handouts, and you wonder, to turn a quote from Animal Farm, all regions were created equal, but some regions more equal than others. And we got to watch that. All regions were created equal, but some apparently more equal than others. Kurt Paris, right? Kurt says the nursing school in Linden closed down. And imagine, Karen talks about investing in our youth. Everybody won't go walk on an aisle rig, because God forbid you should get sick and you don't have nurses and doctors, right? But instead of doing more, they're shutting down the nursing school, trying to shut down the nursing council. You ever see such wickedness? And that is the problem I have. When you guys go, right? You guys go to these foreign countries, y'all going, you sit down there in Los Angeles, stay in them best hotels and so on. Y'all don't want nothing proper for your people? You walk on those roads, you see the services that are available, right? You engage the technology. Y'all don't want better for your people? Huh? We still rowing with light and water. Huh? We still rowing with light and water and roads. We ain't gone on from there. 50 years ago, you check any newspaper, 50 years ago, we were talking about light, water, and road. 50 years later, we still talking about that? We still talking about that? 50 years ago, we still talking about that? We got to move on. We got to keep a pace with the rest of the world. Folks, I'm in a hotel in Colombia. I wasn't fearing, right? I wasn't fearing. Y'all know this whole body won't fetch nothing much these days anyhow. I was on a transportation study tour, compliments of the government, the last one. I want to give you the impression I'm getting a brung back from this one. The last administration, right? And I got into the hotel room, and I remember at the desk, the people give me a card in my hands. I fling the card away, right? But in the hotel room, and I'm looking for the light switch. I spent about half hour. You see where you never see comfy, but half hour looking for the light switch. Never see comfy, right? I had to call downstairs, and the woman said, "Sir, you see that card we give you? You see that slot in the wall? Just rest it there." Soon as I rest the thing, that the light come on, I say, "Oh, yeah, blood of Jesus." I said, "Blood of Jesus." All the lights come on. I rest the card in the wall. That's how far back we there. I rest a card in the wall. The whole thing come on. All the lights. I go by the bed head. I see something running across. The phone says, "Welcome, Mr. Duncan." I say, this OB is strong here. How this phone know me? Oh Father, have mercy. Lord have his mercies. I see me phone running across the name. I say, how this room don't know I hear, man. How this room know I hear? How this room know I hear? A simple slot in the wall. I rest the thing down. This little thing that looks like a credit card or a bank card. Something like that. Rest it in the wall. All the lights come on. When you turn on the TV, I see my name on the TV. I say, the Colombian OB really strong. Right? I nearly rush outside the room. But you gotta pretend that you're back. You gotta pretend you're backward now. I say if I could upset and complain, these people go, "Where is which country I come from?" Oh, Father, have his mercies. When we go and we see things other places, man, we don't want better for we people. I think it's a natural thing. to want your kids to do better than you as a parent, to want the next generation to be a little better, right? And one of the mantras we have is to leave, you know, the place a little better than you found it. Right? And I'm happy that folks like Karen Abrams and her team, STEMGAT, they're trying to do that. Right? But in Guyana, with them boys, it's one step forward, two step backwards, and tremble. Everybody tremble. That sounds like it could be a good word, some good lines for a song. One step forward, two step backward, and tremble. Like I get the rhythm too. We in a bad way. We ain't have a take everything wholesale. But you go to Trinidad, Papa Jagaba talking about Trinidad falling apart. At least them people see what they do with the little isle money. You go to Trinidad, it's like a little US here, and everything on the up and up. You go to Barbados, Jamaica, you can see people doing something after 50 years, how much ever years of independence. You can see progress. When you hear those leaders talk, you mesmerize, you're locked in, you lock on. When these boys, they open their mouth, oh, Father. We're in a bad way. We're in a bad way. But we got to keep persevering. We got to keep pressing forward. Or you know what? Our young people are going to end up like Lisa Ramnarain. All is not lost. No, there's no distinction between the sacred and the secular. And according to the reports, Lisa had cocaine in religious items. No respect. That's not what we want our young people interested in. Zenil Williams, about 7 pounds of cocaine she trying to pass through Cherry Jagan International Airport. Yes, Zenil Williams, y'all know she's Sonia Paragnis. About 7 pounds of cocaine. Now that she going on psych evaluation, right? I don't know, maybe they see that she shook her down. So, but we gotta do more for young people. We gotta, some things gotta be off limits to the politicking. And especially investing into the future of this country, our young people. Right? Our young people. We got to invest in them. We got to invest in them. But too much of us ourselves, popping the molly. So we're distracted. Too many of us. Right? But we got to do what we got to do. Good policies, strong policies to bring about lasting change. Not cosmetic stuff. 40,000 is good for a week in this country. And then when 40,000 finish, what next? Right? And it's the audacity at mediocrity that upsets you. When a man can say they intend to run a part-time job program for 3 years. You understand why you got the Chancellor and Chief Justice acting for 17? If you as an employer saying you're comfortable with people working part-time, that's all you could afford. For 3 years, we'll be there. We'll be there. If that is all people can, if that is what your time allows you, fair enough. But a government is offering part-time jobs only. What kind of economy you got? Huh? It's part-time job Lisa doing and Zenil. They got many problems that they that's not sustainable. How you could live and raise a family, right? On part-time job. A young person now who is 18, 22. You tell me, I look into the future. I want to start a family, for my education. All I could say for next 3 years, look for this 40,000 a month. How you paying UG? If the only thing available to you is a part-time job at 40,000, how you going about that? What miracle is there? You gonna hand it to Jesus? He stretched it like the 5 loaves and the 10 fishes. The 40,000, right? Good to have had each and every one of you folks. Good to have had each and every one of you here with us, guys. It's been our pleasure and our privilege being here with you folks. These are the issues we got to confront. Karen Abrams says the whole world is moving on. The whole world is moving, and we can be left behind. Or as the young people say, behang. We can be left behind. Right? Guyana must change, Karen says, because the rest of the world is changing. I want to thank Karen Abrams for this column in Village Voice. Guyana must change because the rest of the world is changing. We don't want to be in a situation where we get left behind. And I hope that more and more elections become about issues, the least of which is the issue of race, right? And apanjat, but issues. What's your education policy? What is your security policy? What is your policy or your plans for the oil and gas sector? What's your plans for the teachers? What's your plans for the nurses? And people can vote, right? But I believe them, but think if you get a little too developed, if they start coming back and implementing one and two things, you will need them. So they keep us dependent. But we're going to keep fighting forwards, folks. We can keep fighting forward. We got to keep fighting forward to develop this country. And it will take all of us, not just some. And take you, Paulette Hawkippins, and Robert Pops Archer, and Anne-Marie Roberts, and all the other folks, Gwyneth Anderson. It can take all of us, pulling in the same direction as much as possible to get the kind of lasting change that we deserve, folks, and that we need. Jenny's Booker, good to see you. Alicia Modilal, good to see you. Right? Alicia Modilal said 40,000 will finish in one day in the market. It's very true. It's very true. You pass through border market right now at 40,000. You can walk far. You ain't gonna walk far at all. First 2 stalls, money done. You turn back and catch a bus and you go home. Or you walk home and you buy something with the $200 for the bus. Kim Walker, good to see you here, folks. Good to see you here. Tomorrow we have another theme we're going to be examining in our podcast. Every day we're going to be examining a different theme. Good to have had you here today, Yvonne Ramasar and Joylyn Cook. And I see Rhonda Ferguson is here as well. And Chisel Chipper 68. And I see we have Candyline Inderjeet and all the other beautiful folks. It's been a privilege having you guys here. We'd have it no other way. Thanks for joining us, guys. That's going to do it for us at this end. Do remember to smash that emoji button, guys, and share the damn live stream. Partner with us as well, folks. We need your help. Pace and power. And look how much technology has changed. Look how it's changing the world. Before we would have had to have a huge station and antenna and all of that. But thanks to the advent of social media, we're still reaching you guys. That is how the world of work is changing. And look how you guys can listen to us from anywhere in the world. You can go and plug in a radio and have a relay someplace else with some international broadcasting agency to hear us. All you got to do is have a smartphone in your hand. That is how the world of work is changing. You have to wait till you go home at 6 o'clock, but anywhere you could be in a bus right now. Somebody's in an Uber somewhere in New York City, in Germany somewhere, in Ireland somewhere, listening to us. That is how the world of work will change. Some of the systems we employ to do these broadcasts efficiently, the software we use on a monthly basis to do this, for instance, right? It's an international company that we're doing businesses. We never see them, they never see me, but we're doing business. Right? And some of the others, some of the other apps and so on that lend to the efficiency of these programs, you gotta run them. You gotta run them on a monthly basis. It's money, right? And all of them are international companies that you have to deal with. That's how the world of work is changing. You could be right in Guyana, but you're working for a company somewhere around the world, and from your house too, or from your car, or from the beach, from Marriott poolside or Pegasus poolside. The whole world of work is changing. And here is Karen Abrams telling us today, or a person of interest, telling us that a job for life is now a thing of the past. Job for life is a thing of the past. It's true. I'm thankful too, because when I was in high school and I was doing my summer jobs, I waited tables, work at a Shark Time place, all of that. I thank God that was not my job for life. You know? But all honest work is honorable. All honest work is honorable. Folks, thanks for joining us. Stay safe. You know, we're available via PayPal, we're available via Zelle. All of those are international companies that we partner with to get this job done. Zelle, Cash App, two international companies that facilitate money transfers and so on. PayPal, Zelle, Cash App. MMG, our local company. You know, sometimes they get capacity, but most of the times they're on the right path. We're available via Western Union and via MoneyGram as well, folks. We need your help. We need your help. Thanks for joining us. Smash that emoji button, share the damn live stream, and let me go down the road. See you guys at 8 this evening. We're back in the ring. We go fight it out. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe, folks. Stay safe. That's my time.